Hey watch people, this is Hector with Winding Crowns, and today we have a full review or my 2 cents on a watch by a company called Praesidus, and the watch model is called the Type A-11. It is a watch that's done to the specs of a World War II watch. Not only is it spec'd out the same, but it has the aesthetic looks of it with a modern NH35 movement. It's a really good looking watch, guys, and I think you'll enjoy it. First though, before we go to the desk, we got to do the wrist check. I've been trying to wear this watch more often, guys, because I'm trying to get the patina on it. I don't want to force the patina, I just want it to come in naturally. And as you can see, it kind of is. There's the helium escape valve. Really nice. It's coming along pretty nice. Anyways, guys, time to go to the desk. You know what to do. Follow me. Oh, by the way, a little bubbly. That tastes good. Let's go. Come on. Hey watch people, this is Hector with Winding Crowns, and today I'm showcasing a Praesidus watch. It is this one here. I've done the unboxing, and now it's time for the my 2 cents, a review I'd call it, but it's just my opinion. But the watch is actually 42 millimeters in diameter. And but it doesn't wear extremely big. And I like the fact that the case, if you notice closely, it is bead blasted. See the bezel? But it's not a bezel, because if you look, watch as I turn it, the side of the case, see how it's all one piece? It's not a bezel. See the bead blast sides? High polished, big, huge monster crown with good knurling. Bead blasted bezel, or top of case, whatever you want to call it. High polished lugs, the tops anyway, because the sides are brushed. You do have holes on the side of the lugs for easy strap changes. I love that bellied case. See that? That belly to it, really cool. No sharpness, so it's actually pretty smooth. This crown is so easy to manipulate and wind, as I'm doing now. This is running an NH35 movement. Now it does have a ghost position because it has no date, because the watches back in the military back in the day that this is a reference to, which is the A-11, wouldn't have a date. So to keep it true, you're not going to have a date on the dial, but the movement has a date, so you just pull. It's a push-pull crown, not a screw down, because the watches back then wouldn't have had screw downs either. So they're keeping it basically the same as back then. You pull, and there you stop. See, now you hacked it. You can set the time, whatever that may be. Let's just do this. Okay, push it back in, and there you go. You're starting again. This is your wind. All right. Your first position would be a date, which it doesn't have, and second would be the hacking. Push it back in. Now, I never noticed the ghost position, because when I usually pull, it skips that one and goes straight to the last position. You just pull. Watch. You see the seconds hand? Now watch. Like, it's just a smooth transition, so you don't really notice, and it's really well done. I don't know if you notice, but that stem on that crown is pretty thick. See that? Let's push it in. There you go. Good winding. Big old crown. Polished. And I like the loom, the vintage type of loom. You got all your little loom pips at the 5, 10, 15, 20, and so forth, all the way around, all like patina loom. You have your numbers 1 through 12. keeping it aesthetically pleasing to the eye with the vintage look to it. And also it keeps it in line with how a watch from back then would have had the lume eventually. It would have patinaed. So you have your like cathedral style hands, which is something of that time period. It's really, really nice. It came on a leather strap that I rather have a canvas. I could have ordered it on a canvas, but I didn't. Like an idiot, I put it on leather. So I put my own Barton, this olive army green type of military green with a nice brush keeper. Let's open that up. As you can see, it's a Barton with one floating keeper and one sewn in. But we're not here to talk about Barton straps. We're here to talk about this watch. And here it is, Praesidus Type A-11, which is the type of watch. That isn't the name of that type of watch. It's the type of watch, right? There was no such thing as an A-11 name of an A-11 watch. Not like a Breitling Super Ocean or Breitling Navitimer. The Navitimer or Super Ocean are names of a model of Breitling. Okay, that's not the case. An A-11 is a type of watch, not the name of the watch. You know? So this is a Type A-11. And you can see it says assembled in the USA with imported parts. It says automatic movement. You have the octagon or whatever you want to call it type of shape. And you have these like Rolex type of grooves. And you know, these can come in a 38 millimeter or in a 42. I opted for the 42 because I have a big wrist. My wrist is 7.5 inches, so I went with the 42. And then also for a little bit of upgrade, like I think a $20 upgrade, you can actually get it from K1 crystal to sapphire crystal, and it is single domed to get that plexiglass look. Here again, these watches back then would have been vintage and they would have had plexiglass. So how do you replicate that? By putting single domed sapphire or K1, and then you're going to get that blur like if it was a plastic crystal. But I opted for the sapphire because, well, for obvious reasons, right? And for a little upgrade, it's worth it. But yeah, it's a great looking watch, guys. It's really, really great. NH35 is a workhorse movement, so you're not going to have any issues with it. 316L stainless steel, bead blasted case and bezel, high polished lugs, tops, everything else bead blasted. Beautiful, big, huge monster crown with plenty of knurling for winding and setting the time. You got your nice circular brushing on your case back with a simple name of the company, Type A-11, and then that it's made assembled in the US. It is really good looking. I mean, it's no crown guards because those watches back then wouldn't have had them. The whole point, guys, is you could say, well, I wish I had crown guards, or I wish I had this. Well, those watches didn't have that. So this is military inspired, and they spec it, they spec it out, or Mil-Spec it out to what it was back then. Like everything that these watches had to have to be in the military back then, that's how they spec them now. When they decided to make this watch, they say, okay, what were the requirements for a watch to be Mil-Spec for the military? Okay, these are them. Okay, let's do it on this watch. And so this didn't change. It's not like, well, we don't have to Mil-Spec because it's technically not for the military, so let's just make it look like one. No, they did it to exactly the same. So much so that one of the requirements was that you have to have, at every 10 minute, you had to have the number 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Like that. And if you don't believe me, go read up on them. Not just read up on this brand, read up on these Mil-Spec watches of this era. That was part of it. It had to have that. If it didn't have that, it wasn't going to be Mil-Spec for the military. It had to have that, guys. And they went with that as well. So this is great. I'm going to reach out to Praesidus because this is the 42 mil. And I'm curious to see what the 38 mil on Sapphire is going to look like. I'm fixing to put on my 7.5-inch wrist so you can see how it wears. I know I've been getting a lot of comments where like, man, you know, that's a beautiful watch, but the closer dimensions to the ones from actually back in the day would be, you know, back then there were 34 mil and 33 mil. Yes, but you know, they don't make those for men anymore hardly. It's all women's sizes now. And even women are wearing bigger watches than 34 and 33 mil. But that was what they were back then. Okay, so this company comes out with this 42 mil and they come out with the 38. Although in the military they weren't wearing 38s, but the 38 would be closer to the true dimensions of the ones being worn back then. So a lot of guys have reached out to me and said, can you get a hold of the 38? We would like to see how the 38 wears on your 7.5 inch wrist. And not only that, but if you want to keep it more to the dimensions of, you know, of the era, 38 would be closer. So I do understand it's a valid point that you make. So I'm going to reach out to Praesidus and see if they can send a 38 for a comparison. But for right now, this is all I have, guys. But let me go ahead and try it on wrist. And I'm going to hit it with the flashlight and go ahead and do a loom shot as well. This is a great watch, guys. Look at that. It doesn't wear big. But then again, I have a 7.5-inch wrist, so I do understand your concerns. But hit that. And let's do it. There it is, guys. What do you think? Nice, right? Look how bright that is. Look at the loom dots. Look at the numbers. Look at the leaf style, cathedral type of hands. Look at that. The hour hand, the minute hands. I mean, beautiful, isn't it? Gorgeous. Now I'm curious about the 38 mil. Let me get the lights back on, guys. Anyway, guys, love this watch. If I can get a hold of that 38, I will, guys. So stay tuned for that. I'll try to reach out to them. But if you like to see watch content, my crazy antics, pass it around. I'm here for everybody. And hit the bell icon so you're notified of the next video. And please leave a comment down below. I really love reading your comments. And remember, never stop winding crowns. Thanks, guys.